Our romantic relationships are so important because that person shapes our view and definition of happiness. They determine for us what is normal, and more importantly than that, they determine how far we're gonna go in life in terms of how we reach our purpose. How many of us would say that we know how to love and how to be loved? A lot of us instinctively think or say, yes, we do know how to love, we do know how to be loved. Some of us do honestly admit no, but for the most part, it's like, okay, I generally have an idea of what love is. I generally think I know what to do. What we honestly know is how to act out on the behaviors that we viewed growing up. What our definition of love is formed from is what we've seen from the time we were a child, in our examples of love, in our examples of receiving love, in our examples of looking at love. From starting off with myself, it took me really analyzing myself to realize I had a defense mechanism that I and a lot of people have, but we don't see it as a defense mechanism. We see it as love. This is our way of expressing love. And what I'm talking about is the ride or die defense mechanism. That's what I call it. And this applies for both men and women. I've seen both genders fully participate in this sort of defense mechanism where it's masked as love. So basically, you are a ride or die type of person. When you get with someone, you love them hard. You love them with all of your heart. You give your all to them. You give your all to the relationship. You do everything you can for them. And it's kind of a thing where you begin to put them over yourself, because that's what you feel that love is. That's how you express your love. That's what you've seen love as being. And though many of us consider this good, the reason that it's a defense mechanism and the reason that we have to analyze our actions in this, because I'm not saying it's always bad, but I'm also saying that for the most part, it's not always good either, is because one of two reasons. So one, it communicates with the other person on a subconscious level that they are more important than us, because we show a person through our actions how to treat us. So if we are constantly putting them over ourselves, if we're constantly showing them our love over ourselves, and most times we see this growing up, but they begin to treat us like they are more important than us because they subconsciously see us that way, because we have trained them to see us that way. And so we have to really be careful not to train people in this expression of love to see us, to view our value as less than theirs. Another reason that this is a defense mechanism is because it only allows them to get so close to us, because we're giving so much love, we're doing so much things, we're being so sweet, we're being so amazing, that the focus really doesn't have to be on us. And usually this is coming from a deeper psychological problem where we have been so hurt, or we're so scared of ourselves that we don't want to focus on us. So we put all our energy, we put all our focus, we put all our love in the relationship because we're compensating for the love that we wish we could give ourselves. Another issue that I see so common in today's society is that we don't process emotions. We find that it's hard to be alone. And the reason that it's hard to be alone is because we never took time to deal with ourselves and to face ourselves. From our lack of not taking time to be vulnerable with ourselves first, and to get over things that we need to get over, and just seeing it as, I can move on from this, I don't need them, I'm strong, I don't need anybody, I got this sort of mentality. So we think entering into different relationships, we'll find that person, or we'll find that love that we need to heal us. We'll find that thing that we're looking for, that we're so desperately looking for. And it's sad because this can only be found within ourselves. This can only be found within really taking the time to face ourselves. But people are so scared to do that because they don't want to process these hard emotions. They don't want to find these hard answers in themselves, because it's hard. I'll admit it's hard, but it's worth it. Because we're jumping from relationship to relationship, or just because we don't take time to heal from one relationship before we enter another, we enter the relationship with deep-rooted trust issues. And this generally is rooted from being hurt by someone we never thought would hurt us, or not having the love and support from someone that we should have had love and support from growing up. And so because we don't let it go, it turns into a negative self-fulfilling prophecy. So basically it's like we're constantly on edge because we're constantly looking for what they're going to do to hurt us or to mess up or to put us back in defense mode, back in a defense mechanism, because that's all we're used to. That's our only way of knowing love. That's our definition. It's become our subconscious definition of love, to constantly be on the defense, to constantly be looking out for what they're gonna do next, for what they're gonna do to hurt me, because all we know is hurt. But this is why it's so important to really heal from things and to really address things, because if not, it will carry over into relationships. And these symptoms of not addressing and dealing with the hurt, not taking time to really face ourselves, it can lead to things like jumping in too quickly or falling too quickly for someone in a relationship and thinking that it's love, and then not letting go, like finding ourselves in relationships where we're asking ourselves, why haven't I let this go? Why can't I let this go? Why do I need this person in my life when I know in my head that they're not good for me? There are people that can just cut a relationship off easily. Basically, they can turn heartless in a second. And it's literally the same exact reason. It's just that people can react completely opposite to the different traumas that we deal with in our lives. And so if you're a person that off the slightest thing, anything somebody does, you can cut them off, you can get heartless, you can basically be like, moving on, I don't care, and you basically get to a point where you don't care. That's the same defense mechanism from fear, from being hurt, not facing ourselves. And so we instantly can get to a point out of reaction and out of just dealing with the hurt where we shut ourselves off and we shut our hearts off. But that's not natural. That's not something that we should be doing, and that's not something that we should be taught is okay. Now you're thinking, okay, what can I do? Like, all right, you said all these things, you've addressed all these issues, what can I do now? If you're in a relationship right now, for anyone who comes to me asking should they be in a relationship or just asking about general relationship advice, I tell them ask themselves these 3 questions. These questions will answer you. They will give you your answer. So number 1, are they currently at or aspiring for where you want to be in life? And I don't just mean in one category such as finances. I mean, are they aspiring for where you want to be emotionally, for where you want to be spiritually, for where you want to be mentally, for where you want to be in a career, for where you want to be in your purpose, where you imagine yourself being in your ideal life? Do you see them actively striving for that point? Or already at that point? Or are they complacent? Are they kind of the opposite of where you see yourself being in the future? Number 2, do they pour into you positively? After being with them, after leaving them, do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel like they uplift you? Do you feel like they encourage you? Do you feel like they are there for you? Do you feel like they're supportive? These are important questions. And number 3, have you become a better person as a result of them being in your life? Now I want you to ask these same questions, but in reverse. So ask it in the standpoint of that person. Are you that person that would be a yes to those 3 things? If there's anything that you don't like within yourself, within your pattern of relationships, within your past, it's not going to be easy what I'm about to ask you to do, but I want you to really take time and energy to write a letter to your past self. If you don't like writing, you could type a letter. Become that person that should have been there for you in that moment that changed you, in that moment that broke you, that moment that just really hurt you. And really be there for yourself, because someone needs to be there for you. And at times that can only be you. On the second half of the letter, I want you to tell yourself what you're no longer going to do or accept anymore. This is the stopping point for any bad habits that you have in relationships and in life. I want you to establish this stopping point. At the day you write that letter, at the day you write this letter, hopefully it's today, I want you to establish that your past self is no longer going to engage in certain things. You are no longer going to accept certain things. You're going to forgive yourself. You're going to forgive others. You're not going to carry any more bitterness. You're not going to carry any more hurt, because you're going to let it go, and you're going to establish a new future you starting the day you put down that pen and write that letter. Okay, so this is really going to help us let go of things that we need to let go of and establish a stopping point for these bad habits. Number 3, we have to be so mindful of the music that we listen to. And I know this sounds random with what I'm talking about, but it's so real, because certain music establishes a sense of normalcy for things that shouldn't be normal. For example, no one get offended if you personally like these songs. I personally like these songs at a point in my life too, but Medicine was a song that was popular recently for the summertime. I hate that song. And some of you guys know what I'm talking about, but it's basically about a woman who gets revenge on her man because he did bad on her, and her form of revenge that she proudly talks about in the song is engaging in sexual activities with other men, basically talking to other men. And something that bothered me so much in that song is she said that she was giving what was his to someone else. That hurt me to my core, because that is a woman who sees her body, her beautiful jewel, the thing that makes her a woman, the thing that makes her her. She sees it as belonging to a man. Whether a man does you right or wrong, your body is yours first. Your body does not belong to anybody else. And so we think it creates a sort of mindset that 1, our body is somebody else's, and 2, if we go and have sex with someone else, that will hurt them, when really at the end of the day, that's only hurting us. Another song that was popular a few summers ago was called The Weeknd by SZA. I used to sing that song so loud, but if we look at the message in that song, if we look at the words in that song, again, it was sending a message that communicates that we don't have value, that our value is found in a man. And honestly, she was giving her love to a man that couldn't even fully give his love to her. Think about what that does to you on a psychological level when you continually listen to songs like that. That communicates that you don't have value. That communicates that your value is not found in yourself. It's found in a man. It's found in giving yourself to a man who can't give himself to you. This is specifically female songs, but I know there's male songs like that too. There's other songs and other genres like that. So just being so mindful, so careful of the music that we listen to, and not accepting the negative message that it can send sometimes. Have a gratitude list that you write in every day in your relationship. This is so important because especially after we get out of the honeymoon phase and after we've gotten used to that person, we've been with that person for a long time, it can become very easy to get caught up in the mundane of everyday life, to get bored, to get complacent, to start noticing all the annoying habits they have, all the things that we don't like, all the bad that they do, and for this to be highlighted in the relationship. So we have to actively, from the beginning of the relationship all the way until the end, we have to keep the positivity flowing or it will eventually die out. It's something that we have to work on. And it doesn't have to be hard. What I'm saying is just every day with your significant other, if you have a significant other, start this today and don't stop. Write at least one thing, and it has to be different, at least one different thing every day that you notice about them, that you appreciate about them, that you love about them. And even take some time to really challenge yourself to notice things that you don't normally notice. Always periodically do something that scares you or that is thoughtful and new in the relationship. This is so important because it's something to remind both of you why you decided to love, why you love being in a relationship. So for example, if you're not someone who is generally vulnerable, take some time periodically to just challenge yourself to be vulnerable with them. For example, as opposed to just getting upset, express your feelings, express why that hurt you. Even expressing that hurt you, one. Or if you're not someone who generally takes some time to spoil them, have a day that's just about them. Set up a day, whether you're a female or a male, just set up a day that is their day, where you do everything that they love just because you love them, not because you want anything, not because it's a holiday, but just because you chose them and they chose you. This should be a thing of always making them feel appreciated, always showing our love for that person. Because when we do this, it sends a message that they can give that back. But again, that's only if it's the right person, because there are people that will take that and love you so much, but there are also people, unfortunately, who will take that and use it. So it's important to be careful of who we choose to give our best to and who we choose to love. But I hope that this resonated with you. I hope that it helped and you love some of these tips. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day or night. Bye.